Hey, it's Thursday, January the 8th, 2026. My name is Tom, and this is your Ready Core Daily Brief. On today's show, knowing your risks is just the start. Now it's time to connect them to practical steps that build capability. Let's get started.
This is your AmCon Daily Sit Rep for January the 8th, 2026. Up first today, police departments nationwide are experimenting with AI programs that draft police reports by analyzing body cam footage. However, a recent incident raised concerns when an AI-generated report bizarrely stated that an officer turned into a frog with a magic book granting wishes. The error was attributed to the AI confusing a background movie with the actual incident. This highlights the risks in relying on AI for critical legal and emergency services documentation and the need for careful human review. In other news, a 21-year-old Texas man, John Michael Garza Jr., has been federally charged with attempting to provide material support to ISIS. Garza allegedly supplied bomb components and cryptocurrency funds, believing he was aiding ISIS operatives. The investigation involved multiple law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and NYPD, illustrating the ongoing threat posed by lone wolf terrorists. Authorities urge vigilance and immediate reporting of suspicious behavior. Continuing on security concerns, an active terror threat alert has been issued for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The Fort Worth Police Department is investigating a video threat circulating online, but assesses it is likely not credible and intended only to incite fear. Precautionary measures, including increased monitoring of public spaces and schools, are in place. Citizens are reminded to stay alert and report any suspicious activities. Shifting focus to privacy and legal matters, smart devices are reshaping search warrant laws. Traditional warrants targeted specific locations or items, but smart homes, vehicles, and wearables collect multidimensional behavioral data spanning various aspects of privacy, including spatial, behavioral, communicational, and inferential domains. Courts are now grappling with how to authorize these broad searches while respecting constitutional protections. This evolving landscape demands careful oversight. Turning to public safety, there is potential for violent protests in the south side of downtown Minneapolis over the next several days. Nationwide protests continue on various issues, with organizers urging situational awareness and precaution. Residents are advised to avoid protest areas when possible and report suspicious activity promptly. Today's weather forecast calls for impactful snow from southeastern Colorado into New Mexico Thursday night through Friday. The upper Midwest and Great Lakes also face snow Friday night into Saturday. Flash flooding and severe weather threats are expected across the lower Mississippi and Tennessee valleys on Friday. Record warmth will affect much of the southeast to the Ohio Valley, driving severe thunderstorms and heavy rainfall. Travelers should prepare for potentially hazardous conditions due to storm systems influencing the nation this weekend. Looking ahead on the calendar, there are several upcoming events of interest. The Broward County, Florida chapter monthly meetup will be held January 13th at Markham Park in Sunrise, Florida. The RCNWFL Winter Camp is scheduled for January 15th to 18th at Sand Pond Campground in Ebro, Florida. The third annual Illinois Winter Camping event takes place January 16th to 18th at Starved Rock State Park Campground in Oglesby, Illinois. The Oklahoma Ready Corps January meeting will be held on January 22nd at Rudy's in Norman, Oklahoma. The Southeast Regional Winter Field Day exercise is planned for January 24th and 25th in Tupelo, Mississippi. For those interested, these events provide opportunities for training, fellowship, and preparedness skill building. Members can access the American Contingency Members-Only site to get the full report and more in-depth analysis of today's stories, along with practical preparedness tips, training opportunities, and resources to help you, your family, and your neighborhood stay crisis ready.
After finishing up their risk rankings, the Johnsons realized something interesting. Almost every disruption, whether it's a storm, an outage, or supply shortage, had the same effects. They didn't need a new plan for every event. They needed to connect the dots between problems and solutions. Once they saw the pattern, preparedness stopped feeling endless and started feeling manageable. Once you've identified your top risks and their impacts, the next step is to bridge the gaps, to link each risk to the preparedness category it touches. Here's how it looks in practice. For example, power outage is energy, lighting, communications. Evacuation is mobility and recovery. Water contamination is food and water. Medical emergency is health and medical. Job loss or income stress, income and economics. When you make these connections, preparedness stops being abstract and the categories they sound more real. It becomes a clear set of actions. Check the batteries, build a water plan, update your contact list, store extra fuel, learn first aid. This is where awareness meets capability. You're no longer just identifying problems, you're building the systems that solve them. Preparedness is simply closing the space between what could happen and what you can do about it. So tonight, look back on your risk list from earlier this week. For each risk, I want you to write down which preparedness category it affects most. That's your personal roadmap for training and improvement. Tomorrow, we'll wrap up the Assess week with 5 bullets on how to stay aware, adaptive, and confident all year long. Thanks as always for listening to your ReadyCorps Daily Brief. If you're already a member, we appreciate you. And if not, it's simple to get started. Just head over to AmericanContingency.com. I'm Tom Rigsby. Stay alert, stay ready, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.